Hello everyone and welcome to another video. It's been a while since I made a Skyblock video and today I'll be reviewing Thirtyvirus' 1.16 Skyblock video. If you're a part of the Skyblock community, you already know who Thirtyvirus is, and depending on what stage of game you are, you probably don't like him that much. Regardless of how you feel about him, we'll be discussing this video of his. It basically consists of him discussing how Skyblock could update to the newest version of Minecraft, and then him talking about a bunch of possibilities if we did update the game. So we'll be looking into his reasonings and determining if it is as feasible as he says it is. Spoiler, it can't. Now I must point out that in a perfect world we'd be able to update to 1.16 and keep all the good aspects of pre and post 1.9. I would love to see Elytras in Skyblock, but in reality that just isn't going to happen. The first point, and probably the biggest one, is the fact that Jigoku-Hen, one of the developers for Skyblock, said it would be in fact possible to update to 1.16 given around 6 months of time, which also assumes that developers keep on schedule better than they did for literally any Skyblock update. I'm optimistic about that aspect of it, as there are elements of 1.9 Plus that I believe to be extremely exciting, but at the same time it does worry me to the possibility of recursive updating in the future. Mojang doesn't like to release big updates very often, it usually happens around once a year or so, but they also decide to make multiple patch updates within every major release. This is why 1.8 had around 10 different versions, since they had to fix everything they wanted to before 1.9 release. And it's the same reasoning as to why only a few weeks after an update there will always be a new patch. Mojang for some reason doesn't polish their updates very well. So what does this mean for Skyblock? Well, first, mod devs would need to completely overhaul their mods to work in a 1.16 version, which may require a complete rewrite. I'm not a modder, I don't know how difficult it would be. For some mods, that would be relatively simple, but for things like Skyblock add-ons or not enough updates, we might have a problem. From Hypixel's perspective, this probably wouldn't be an issue, since it isn't the server's job to keep mods available for their players. Secondly, if we switch to the newest release, Skyblock would also need to be ready for future releases. If 1.17 comes out, Skyblock would need to switch to it. The amount of work that would go into updating every time would be a lot, and it would take devs away from making current game updates. I understand that these points might not be the most persuasive, but let's take a moment to reflect on the beauty that was Skyfall. Mineplex made Skyfall as their first 1.9 Plus minigame for the server by using Elytras to create a Skywars Hunger Games mix. The game was doing really well for a while until the hype died out and people began to stop playing it due to being on a different version of the game. The main issue we see here is that the game itself operating at 1.9 was fine. The rest of the server didn't want to switch back and forth to play a single game on the server, and not that many people even liked Skyfall when they played it, so the game died because of the version difference. I don't think many players would immediately quit Skyblock if they changed the version, but I think it would deter new players from trying it, and it would also make players who are active on other game communities wary of switching back and forth just to play Skyblock. The next major point to discuss is actual game performance. 30 does say that Hypixel runs on 1.7 in the background, but that doesn't mean that the server will just magically smooth everything out. Newer versions of the game still provide tons of lag and delay for players, and while the server side of things may be fine, client side they might not be. Some players already have a hard time handling the thorn fight on their computers, and that's not even the worst that Skyblock could throw at us. And while 30 does acknowledge the fact that the lag exists, he doesn't see it as that big of a deal, at least in the video, which I see to be a very big flaw in his argument. Time is now not the only issue we see in this plan. And yes, in a perfect world, 1.9 Plus would be a possibility, but as of right now, I don't see it being possible. The final point to discuss is, in my opinion, the least important made in 30's video, IRL traders and dupers. These cheating methods make up a huge chunk of the player base, and 30 alludes to the fact that it's taking money away from Hypixel that they could put toward devs. I'm not exactly sure how that would make Hypixel profit. I'm not sure if he means players will spend more on ranks, or if he thinks they'll implement some sort of purchasable coin or skill boosts. I don't see that as being feasible, since one is a very loose connection and the other is borderline violating the ULA. If they want to get more money from Skyblock players, they would probably need to capitalize on MBB++ within Skyblock much more. Obviously cosmetic based, like with the room crafting system, but enough to keep players satisfied with their purchase as well as in-game rewards. And fixing the duping and IRL trading problems would be very effective to stabilize the economy, but that alone won't solve the money issue to hiring new devs. So, in conclusion, no, we should not update to 1.16 yet. Hypixel needs to first fix the current Skyblock issues of duping and IRL trading, and simultaneously also determine a way to profit more to hire more devs. After all that, then they would need to consider if the time spent on updating is worth it, as well as if the version would be stable enough on most players' computers. I don't see any of this working out in the end, to be completely honest. 30 made some valid points, but I think his optimism was the main driving force of the video, which is a good thing since he was able to come up with some possible new ideas to do with the new update and new items. But it will be a while before we see anything begin to work, or even work at all. Thanks for watching. I've been kind of enjoying these Skyblock video reviews, especially since the last did just a bit better than I was expecting. I'll link 30's video in the description if you'd like to watch it to get both sides of the discussion. Please let me know if there's anything else Skyblock based that you'd like to see me do for a video, or if there's any videos you'd like me to critique or look at. And no, Cambo is the real best Skyblock YouTuber.
Cambo kinda sus, I'm not even sus, bro. Literally. I like taking both at the same time.